Hi everybody, this is Red Hill Eagle and this is Monday, week 2 of May 2001. Welcome back to my invasion save, and here we are with the second episode of the save of Raw is War. Let's get on with it then. The show opens with a recap of last week when Shane McMahon announced that he had bought the SmackDown time slot and will be bringing back Nitro in that slot in place of SmackDown, so it will become a WCW show. We've got a rating of 61 for the recap, and the show opens properly with Vince McMahon coming out, and he is responding to Shane, and he basically he's thought about his words, and he's just saying now that, you know, this isn't an acquisition. This wasn't an acquisition of SmackDown. This was not, you didn't just buy a TV time slot. This is an invasion. And, you know, he just continues to say, you know, your mother would be so disappointed with you. That's the basics of it, and a rating of 67. We then have a recap also from last week when Rhino gored Billy Gunn after his match. Billy Gunn was on commentary, and Rhino was kind of goading Billy Gunn a little bit, so Gunn sort of approached him after the match and questioned him on it, and Rhino just went mad, gored him. And that's a rating of 52. So then we have Billy Gunn in action. He said last week that he can show that he can be hardcore. So we had a hardcore match here, and it's a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. And Billy Gunn did get the win in 10 minutes 53 by submission, and it was a rating of 53 overall. But Billy Gunn getting a win there in a hardcore match. But post-match, Rhino comes through and he gores Billy Gunn through a table that was kind of set in place in the corner of the ring for his match against X-Pac, and Rhino took advantage of that. He came along and he just gores Billy Gunn through the table, leaving him out, and that's a 54 overall. We then have a women's match, triple threat, Ivory, Jacqueline and Lita, and it's Ivory getting the win over Lita and Jacqueline in 9 minutes 41, when Ivory pinned Jacqueline, but she did have to use the ropes for leverage. This was just a match to get a few women on the card, really. Lita is kind of having a few words with Right to Censor, and although the stable don't kind of exist in this save at the moment, I'm still kind of having it around, so it made kind of sense to have Ivory in this match. She gets the win, and overall rating of 51. Just trying to get, you know, a bit of women's action on our shows. Steve Austin is then backstage with Triple H. Triple H has an Intercontinental title match tonight. It was announced last week against an unknown opponent. We now know that that is against Eddie Guerrero. And Triple H is a little bit, Eddie Guerrero's not bad. He's a decent wrestler. I mean, what if I lose the gold tonight? And Steve Austin's, you know, he's trying to say, you know, you're good enough to win this match. You know, you've got the resources. You know, you've got what you need to win this match. And you know, if it does look like it's going to be a little bit dodgy, I'm there to save you. I'll be there to do what it takes. And you know, Hunter, even if that means cheating. That's a rating of 57. But as he's talking, and he says particularly where he says the bit about I'll be there and I'll do what I need to, even if it means cheating, the camera pans back to reveal outside Kane heard every single word of it, and that was just a short segment there with Kane, and got a rating of 69. The Hardy Boys then take on Kaientai. I wasn't watching wrestling at this time. I've probably mispronounced that. I probably butchered that name. But it's the Hardy Boys that get the win in 7 minutes 2 when Matt Hardy pinned Taka Michinoku with a twist of fate, a rating of 64. Just to get the Hardys on the card, really. There's not many tag teams, and we don't really have jobbers in the same way that you know, the WWF had jobbers previously when I was watching wrestling. You know, jobbers are kind of they're kind of regarded as they're not good. They're not jobbers, are they? They're kind of regarded as a big deal. You know, they've all got characters, and they've all got, you know, they all have promos and that sort of thing. So it's a bit difficult to kind of create a lot of tag team matches. I'm going to change that over time. I'm going to try and bring in a few of my own ways of booking and the way that I like to play the game. But this particular match then, the Hardy Boys getting the win over Kaintai with a 64 rating. Post-match, the Godfather and Bull Buchanan come down. This is a right to censor. They just appear at the ramp and they just have a promo against the Hardys. Obviously I've included Lita in the angle because Lita being the Hardys manager, she would have been there. But it's just right to censor. You know, they had words with Lita last week, and now they're saying that, you know, the Hardy Boys, you know, you're an absolute disgrace. You shouldn't be on TV. Look at you, the way you dress, the way you're just, ugh. You know, you really shouldn't be on TV. You know, you really should be, you know, just dressing a lot smarter. You know, what's all this, you know, torn jeans and, you know, makeup on your eyes and colourful hair. What's this all about? You know, just sort yourselves out. But it was just a promo. There was no kind of brawling or anything like that. Got an overall rating of 48. But then there's a graphic and it shows that next week Matt Hardy will be facing Bull Buchanan for the European Championship. So Hardy will be defending his singles title. That's a rating of 54. Triple H then takes on Eddie Guerrero for the Intercontinental Championship, and Triple H gets the win over Eddie in 11 minutes 47 by pinfall with a pedigree, but it did need interference from Steve Austin. But Kane was at ringside. I don't know why it doesn't say it here. I was always led to believe, I always thought it said it. I mean, it might be in the agent notes or the booking details. It's in the agent notes. I know I hide this box, so I don't want things like storylines being ruined, but it does. Kane should be at ringside. Why doesn't it say in the big box here? Oh well, he was at ringside, and Steve Austin got involved, but the match got a superb rating of 85 for us, but Triple H successfully defends the Intercontinental Championship. But post-match, Austin and Triple H start to beat Kane up. They start to, you know, you obviously wanted to stop me from helping my friend here, you didn't succeed in that, and now we're just gonna beat you up a little bit. A rating of 83. Then the Undertaker comes to ringside and he makes the save. He saves Kane from a further beating, and there's a bit of a brawl, but then Power Trip realise they're not going to get this one. You know, Triple H has just been in a match, he's knackered. Steve Austin has some involvement, you know, so they're not going to win this one right now. They start to retreat. A rating of 82. We then have another graphic for Judgment Day, and it tells us that at Judgment Day the Hardy Boys are going to take on Right to Censor, and we'll also have Rhino against Billy Gunn. Both of those matches will take place, and the Rhino Billy Gunn match is for the Hardcore Championship. Both of those matches to take place at our pay-per-view at the end of the month. Judgment Day, rating of 53. We then have another recap from last week where Test saved Jericho from a beating from William Regal and the Big Show, and it's a rating of 61 for the recap. Because then we have Perry Saturn taking on Test in one-on-one action, and Test gets the win in 10 minutes 59 by submission. And during the match we had the Big Show distract Test, so it's just a distraction, nothing, you know, just distracted him, but Test, you know, didn't affect Test too much, and Test came out and he still managed to get the victory, 49 rating. But post-match the Big Show does attack Test, and they end up brawling to the outside, and Big Show does attack him and he throws him through part of the set, through part of the plastic set on the ramp. Test is like out cold, he's had it. An overall rating of 59. We then have another graphic for next week. Next week we will see Billy Gunn and Kaintai take on Rhino and Edge and Christian in a 6-man tag, and that's a rating of 58. Chris Benoit then takes on Kurt Angle, and Angle gets the win in 15 minutes 14 by pinfall with an angle slam after distraction from Eddie Guerrero. Eddie was on commentary. He kind of distracted both, as you can see during the match. We also had Eddie Guerrero distract Angle, so kind of distracted both guys during the match, but unfortunately it was Benoit that suffered and allowed Angle to take advantage and get the pin. So that's an overall rating of 77 in our main event. And post-match Angle, Guerrero and Benoit are brought to the back as we go off air. Overall rating of 70. So 70 for the show. Still losing popularity in a lot of places, and only increasing in 6. It still says about not having enough storylines. We're going to get there. At the moment, I'm just kind of going through the motions for the first month or two, kind of get into the swing of this. I've got a lot to learn about this roster. I've got a lot to learn about this era of the WWF. I wasn't really watching. I did start watching kind of the beginning of 2002, so you know, kind of when the NWO came back, and but yeah, so but we'll get there. We'll get a feel for how everything works. I'll get a feel for how the roster is coming together. Once I've got WCW up to a certain level as well, we're going to start having a proper invasion, and I'll kind of be able to book there, you know, kind of, it'll just be different, and it'll be people I want. I'll have a roster. I have my roster. At the moment, there's still a lot of people that you know, I wouldn't normally be booking Kai-En-Tai. I wouldn't normally be booking people like Right to Censor. Probably wouldn't normally even have a women's division. Anyone who knows my channel and has seen any of my previous series wouldn't normally have a women's division either. But you know, we're going through it at the moment. We're just going through the motions, and we're, you know, hopefully I'm putting on some storylines where you want to know where they're going. But it's certainly going to start getting better once, as I say, WCW pick up and we're going to start having a proper invasion. But anyway, this one's probably gone on way too long, and I'm starting to ramble now, so I will say goodbye. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all again for the next one, which will be Nitro. It will be a much shorter episode because Nitro is shorter. The roster has grown, so I might increase the show time to an hour and a half, but it probably won't make a massive difference to the actual, you know, series episode yet. It probably won't be a massively increased episode, but again, I'm starting to ramble. This is what I do. So take care everybody, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.